What up? I'm the Krate Digger of the Mighty Sound Champion crew. And as I've been working on these different concepts and productions for live shows, I've been kind of messing around with different ideas and ways to make this happen. So I've been working on an idea and I'm gonna share it based on the needs that I have, which are basically I'm DJing and focusing on the act of DJing, but I also need to trigger some visual elements that are not always synced to the music. So they happen as the mix happens, and the mix timing may change from performance to performance. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to Touch Portal and how I use it with OBS. First thing we need to do is go to touch-portal.com, click on downloads, and then it'll take you down to the section for you to download the desktop or laptop app, which runs both on Windows and Mac. And then also you'll need to download the mobile app based on whatever type of mobile device you'll be using, phone or tablet, iPhone or Android. Hopefully you already have OBS, but if not, you need to go to obsproject.com/download. Same thing, download the OBS version. So whether you're using Windows or Mac, version 27 or earlier, you need to download the WebSocket plugin. If you're rocking version 28 or later, the WebSocket is part of OBS. What is Touch Portal? Touch Portal, quite frankly, is just a platform that allows you to set macro controls of apps from OBS to Photoshop. I'm using it specifically with OBS to trigger my OBS scene changes during my live performances. Once you have Touch Portal open, also open up OBS, and ideally have it open to whatever scene collection you'll be programming into Touch Portal. So the first thing we need to do is add a page, letting it know what scene collection in OBS these controls in Touch Portal will correspond to. I use these plug and play buttons on the side because it makes it easier. So we just drag in an empty button. I rename that button based on what OBS scene selection it'll correspond to. And then over here where it said add actions, I just type in go, and then I find that button that says go to page. Basically this button, when pressed, is going to open up the Touch Portal page that aligns with live show demo, because that's also the OBS scene that we're controlling. And then I go in and I type in scene, and I find the button in OBS that says set scene collection. So what we've done is we've programmed this button to open the page or the control page in Touch Portal that corresponds to live show demo. And we also have told it to activate the scene collection called or entitled live show demo in OBS. So once I've done that, I'll click here at the top. I'll select the live show demo page, and that page will open up. So once again, when you're looking at this, you'll see the Touch Portal page at the top, and then you'll see the buttons in the square below that we will program. My defaults have it to where every time I open a page, it automatically creates a go to main or a back button. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our grid settings. Based on how many scenes you need to program, you may need to change this. I have this set up in a basic 4x2, 4 across by 2 rows. So 4 columns, 2 rows is how I have this set up. If you're working off the free version, you can have up to 105 buttons per page. Free, you're limited to 5 pages. If you are paying for the license, you can have up to 110 buttons a page, unlimited pages. Programming these to be controlled in OBS. So I go to this OBS drop down and I click that scene selection button and I just drag it over. Click based on what you want it to look like. And then I'm clicking in step 2, the scene that it will correspond to. And then if you open it up, you can see how it says OBS set scene to logo splash. Now I'm going to do that same thing for the other 2 scenes in OBS. A couple of notes, if you want to test the button, just hold down Option and click the button, and you can see on the left side as I click those different buttons how OBS is changing. If you want to delete a button and you're using Mac, you need to hold down Command and click on the button. You'll see the white square around it and then hit delete. Or if you're using Windows, just right click and then select the delete option. So if you make a mistake with a button or you want to change a button, it'll tell you make those changes to the buttons. Technically speaking, at this point, you can theoretically be done. You don't have to use the mobile device. You can use the app to control these, or if you're running this off a different computer, you don't have to run them off the same laptop that's running, say, your Serato or your mixing software. Now, first thing we need to do is we need to be sure that that device is on the same network as our laptop or desktop. Even if you create a network, that's fine. Now, when you open the Touch Portal app on your mobile device, it'll take you through this wizard that will try to scan for Touch Portal signals and connect for you. I prefer to just hit back while it's doing this and enter it myself. So when you hit back, it'll take you to the settings and you just click on server address, type in the IP address of the laptop or the desktop that has the app running. And you know what that is by simply looking at Touch Portal. In that lower left corner of Touch Portal, you'll see the IP address there. So once again, if you're at this point, you can go right to using your mobile device to talk to Touch Portal, which talks to OBS to trigger your changes from scene to scene. A couple of customizations that I like to have on almost every live show and or live stream setup that I run. Now, these customizations both are for the look of the buttons, which makes them easier to use, especially during our performance when I'm mentally super engaged with the actual performing of the music. If I have a production assistant, what I'm seeing on the mobile app and what they're seeing on the desktop app is the same. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on a button and I'm going to change the name of the button from Show Scene Logo Splash to just Logo Splash, because I already know that it's the show scene or the OBS scene. So I just click on that, highlight, delete. All right. Now, customizations allow you to change the font, change the text color, the alignment of the text, and the text size, etc. All right. So I go through and make those changes. And then the button itself, I'm going to make the button and the colors correspond on both the desktop, laptop app, and the mobile device. I'm not going to explain all of that on what the differences are, but just know that by default, the desktop app and the mobile device app, the buttons won't look the same. It'll just have the text and they will correspond, but they won't look the same. I'm going to go deeper into customization here when I go to the On Event tab. Basically, I want this and all other buttons, when I press them, I want the text to get larger and I want the background to turn to green so I know that that is the active scene at the moment. And then when I press a different scene and that whatever scene is no longer active, I want the text to go back and the background to go to what I'm going to make this blue, kind of this ocean blue gradient. I go in and I make the changes when the button is pressed or when it's active, the scene is active, and then I scroll down and I enter the information for when the scene is not active. So when the scene is active, text gets larger, background turns green. When the scene is not active, the text goes back to the 12 and it has that blue gradient background. I hit apply or save and close, and you can see how both the desktop and the mobile app both now reflect that logo splash button looks the same. And you can see how the show scene, the video loop, and the cam A buttons do not look the same in the mobile app as they do in the desktop. So I'm going to go through and make those same changes. But once again, as you see, by testing the button On Logo Splash, you can see when I clicked on it, it now turns green. Text is larger, and you can see on OBS on the left side there that that is the scene that is selected. So I go through the same process for my video loop and my Cam A buttons, changing what they look like when they're pressed, changing what they look like when they are not pressed, and changing what they look like on the desktop page so they all look the same across the mobile and desktop platform. And then personalizing, once again, my go-to main button. I like that to be a very different color so it stands out, and I just have it say back. A couple of other customizations that I like are very helpful is to add a start recording button. That way I can record OBS whether I'm live streaming or not. So if I want to make this a post-production event, I can take the audio either from the side of stage or front of house, or if I'm recording my audio into OBS at the same time, it'll sync it all. I go through that same process of what that button looks like when it's pressed, when it's not pressed, and what it looks like on both the desktop and the mobile app. And then I do another customization that's basically a clock or a time button. This button isn't really for being pressed. It's just a button that allows me to have the information on what time it is. So I can always look down at my controller of Touch Portal and know what the local time is. Now there is a plug and play button for that. I make some adjustments to it. So when I create this time button, I change the name, the look, alignment of the text, and then I go to on event and I erase the information that's already there. I want it to have a custom look, which I pull from the drop down. There will be an option that says date and time. I click the option that says current time in a 12-hour format. You can see how on the mobile app, it now has the time. The time will not show up on the desktop app. It will just have the button text. So once again, you can look and see that on my mobile device, to change scenes, you can see OBS is responding to that, and I'm ready to roll. So if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful about how to use Touch Portal to control your OBS live show. I'm the Krate Digger. Peace.